All right, it's time to talk about the top 5 losers. The Vikings lost against the Packers. All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus show. I am Lupagus. Happy New Year, everybody. And it's not a very happy New Year as the Vikings got their asses kicked, their dicks slapped, and their emotions crushed against the Packers, losing 41-17, I believe was the score. It was 41-17. So we're going to talk about the top 5 losers from that game. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, and also go Liftbridge Brewing Company. You know, it's the new year. Maybe you want to try a new beer. They have amazing selection. You can find it in your local liquor store or at the beautiful facility in Stillwater or New Richmond, Wisconsin. Liftbridge Brewing Company. Boom. Thanks for sponsoring this video. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about the top 5 losers. And there were a lot of losers in this game. The Vikings just, I don't know. This isn't the first time we've seen it this year from this team. Whether it's a home game against the Colts where you got to, pull out a miracle from your ass to win, or, the Dallas Cowboys coming to town and you just don't show up, or going to Philly and laying a turd. This Vikings team is 12-4, but there's been plenty of very head-scratching and embarrassing games and moments, and this was another one of those. Losing to your hated rival 41-17. So let's talk about the losers in this one. And I hate to I'm going to do this guy first because it's not really fair to put him on this list, but he was not very good. Chris Reed. Finally, we saw Chris Reed. We signed him in the offseason. We thought maybe he would be our starting right guard. We thought maybe he would be our starting center because he actually had played well in his time with the Colts. And he finally gets thrust into action after not seeing a single sniff, and he was horrible. I mean, he was horrible. And it's an impossible situation for him to succeed in. You go on the road, you're the center, you're the third-string center in a hostile environment. Hard to hear anything. You're trying to get the play count down, the snap count down, and he wasn't even close. He was snapping at wrong times. He wasn't snapping it. It was bad. It got better as the game went on, but Chris Reed, this is why this guy has not been playing. We saw it today. He's just not ready. He's not, I hate to say it, I don't know if he's very good. But here's the thing we got to worry about. Schlottman broke his fibula. He ain't going to be back. Hopefully Garrett Bradbury's back against the Bears or back for the playoffs, because we cannot expect to make a Super Bowl push with Chris Reed as our center, because it was not bad. It was not good today. It was brutal. It was absolutely hard and tough to watch. Chris Reed, again, I'm not blaming you. You're put into a very, very, very impossible situation to succeed. You did your best. Your best wasn't good enough, and it was bad. It was bad today. Let's go to another guy, a coach. Let's go to a coach. Let's go to Matt Daniels, special teams coordinator. I felt like the coverage on our kicks and our punts was so good early in the season. The last couple of weeks, it seems like it's gotten looser and looser and looser. And today, he let up 100 and whatever it was, 6-5-yard kickoff return to Kasson Nixon, whatever the hell his name is. Anyway, I mean, he's a good returner. Be ready for it. I mean, the kick was, he did feel it like deep in the end zone, so it was kicked to be a touchback. The guy took it out, Kasson Nixon. But, I mean, come on. Make the goddamn tackle. Don't let the guy run the thing back. Plays like that, swing games, this definitely was part of the problem, part of the reason the Packers ran away with this one, because you let this guy return it for the score. And I love Matt Daniels. This guy gets me fired up. He's a passionate coach. He's fiery. I think he might be a head coach in the future. But today, it's hard to say it wasn't his best job, because he got the blocked punt early by Josh Metellus, but your kicker misses 2 field goals. So really not a great day for Matt Daniels and his entire unit. And as good as he's been the majority of the season, I feel like he's almost like the Vikings. Like, he is like a microcosm, because they have really great weeks, and then they have these weeks where they just shit the bed. And I think when they shit the bed, they shit the bed hard. And I think that's been the special teams unit this year for the Vikings and the team as a whole. So Matt Daniels, definitely a turd today. Let's keep going. Let's go with Justin Jefferson. A couple reasons here. Number one, you got Jair Alexander talking shit earlier in the week. I mean, if you could decipher anything he said, you maybe had to put closed captions on, or maybe get some kind of linguist to make out what he actually was saying. But I think what he was saying was that the first game was a fluke. First play early in the game, absolutely, he mugs Jefferson. Then he has the gritty over him. Number one, how is that not a PI? I don't know. How is it not a taunting call, a taunting penalty? I have no idea. But I do think he got in Justin Jefferson's head, and it showed. He was being very physical with him in the line of scrimmage. He was popping him every single play. And Jefferson let Jair get in his head, and that's on Justin Jefferson. As good as he is, as great as he is, I love Justin Jefferson, but he let this corner, who is probably, I'm not going to like rip on Jair Alexander because he's a damn good corner, but I think he's probably more name recognition better than he actually is, because we torched him week one. We've torched him in the past. Thielen's torched him. So to let this guy get to you like that, the way he did, he got in Justin Jefferson's head, and and Jair was playing good today. So other than the mugging early, I didn't see any blatant calls, but Justin Jefferson allowed him to get in his head, get in his mind, and affected his game today. So Justin Jefferson, for that, you're a turd today. Let's also go to our kicker, Greg Joseph, and I'm saying this with the point that I'm not giving up on Greg Joseph. I haven't lost any faith in Greg Joseph, but today he was a turd. He missed 2 field goals. One was from 50. One was a little bit closer. He's coming off a game where he hit a 61-yard walk-off winner, and he was special teams player of the week. But he missed 2 field goals, and when those came, I mean, the game was still within reach. 6 more points would have been a lot closer. It would have made this game a little more manageable. Maybe it changes the way Kevin O'Connell calls the game if he makes those kicks, but he didn't. And I mean, this goes back to the whole Vikings stigma with their kickers. You can't trust them. It's a Vikings kicker. Something bad's bound to happen, and today Greg Joseph just wasn't good. So again, I'm still riding the wave from last week when he hit the 61-yarder. He won us the game. So I'm not going to sit here and rip on the dude and say we need a new kicker at this point. Maybe it's something the Vikings look at in the offseason, and I think it maybe comes in the form of a veteran to bring in some competition, or maybe an undrafted rookie to compete with him. But right now, Greg Joseph is still my kicker. He's a turd. Yes, today he was not good. Definitely a loser today. I'm not giving up on him. I believe in him. He's my kicker through the playoffs. I will stand by Greg Joseph. I made that statement last year, and I'm sticking with it. But today, he was a loser. And I think really the biggest loser today of all these guys is the head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I don't get it. Number one, how can you be 12-4? Well, now you're 12-4. You're 12-3 going into this game. How do you win so many games, but then you also lose? Now it's a handful by multiple scores. You lose by 40 or 37 to the Cowboys. This game was, a 20 like a 24-point differential. How does this happen? You shouldn't be 12-4 and allow these games to keep happening where you're getting your asses kicked and it's a blowout. It's unacceptable. It's mind-boggling. It's head scratching. It's ball scratching. It's taint scratching. I don't even know what to say. But let's just look at some more specifics. Why it got this bad. So you block a punt. You get the ball on the 2-yard line. You dive it. Your center gets hurt. So now you're bringing your third string center because your backup center was already in the game. Next play call is to dive it behind your third string center. What the hell are you doing? KOC, you're supposed to be an offensive genius. You don't have any other play you can call other than diving it behind your third string center. How about a jet sweep? How about some creative, I don't know, something? I mean, this was embarrassing. How the hell does that happen? And then you have 10 men on the field where the announcer saw it early. You got half the players looking to the sideline saying, we have 10 men. No one's coming out. You don't call a timeout. the Packers were kind of sitting there, kind of waiting for the Vikings to call a timeout. They never did. They throw a 11-yard pass. They get the first down on third down. Call a timeout. What the hell are you doing? But overall, it just comes down to the fact that he is allowing this team to lose as badly as they have. What is the preparation? What are you doing? How does this happen? What's the halftime speech like? What's the preparation like to where you're getting to this point where you can bury your division rivals at their place? You look at what happened. The Eagles lost. You had a chance to get to compete for the first seed. With the last final week of the season, you win, and maybe you get it. How do you just come out so flat? There was no oomph, there was no vibe, there was nothing with this offense today, and everything about that goes on KOC. Very disappointing performance, and overall, yeah, we're 12-4. I'm going to take that every day of the week, but the way we've lost games and what has happened in those games is very concerning and something that needs to be talked about more. And we'll definitely do that this week. But overall, KLC, you are the biggest loser of this game. That is it. Those are losers. Vikings lose the Packers 41-17. Horrible, horrible, horrible way to start the new year. But guys, remember this. We are 12-4. We are, worst case, going to be a 3 seed in the NFC. We will have a home playoff game. And in 1982, Zimbabwe passed a law prohibiting citizens from making jokes about their president's name, President Banana.